Welcome back to episode 18 of building a theme park without any game passes. And as you can see, today we are still on the inside of the theme park. And today we are going to hopefully finish or get very far with the powered coaster. We're going to be working on the station, the queue, and probably also add a new flat ride to this area, which we actually got just a few days ago in the last update. So last episode I told you that I had a very nice idea for this, and I can finally tell you it is going to be some sort of like a bunker. Yeah, let's see where we're going to build that. So for this we are going to be needing a lot of primitives, and I think the entrance is just going to be like sort of like put inside the wall. Let's make the entrance of the ride here, and I'm just going to create like 4 big pillars next to each other, sort of to create like a very big wall. And then this wall we can fill up with this, and we can hopefully just fill it up like that. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Add a little bit of depth in here. Now I wish I could add a lot more detail to this, but there's not much I can do. The only thing I can probably do is just add like some poles on the corners, and well, of course not brick. If I'm correct, if I keep scrolling, we should have these metal, which if I just paint like that, to be fair, that does add a little bit of extra detail to the building. And everything is now very gray, so I'm going to try and add some sort of color in here, and also fill up all of these ugly gaps with the terrain, and probably fix some of the terrain at the top of the roof. Okay, so this is going to be the entrance, and probably the exit will be here, and then we'll place the flat ride here. This will probably be just like a dead end with the path, and if you want to continue further into the cave, you probably will be going all the way up here. I don't think I really want this area to be like guest accessible. It's just going to be like one big massive like lush cave. But yeah, we have to of course also make the inside actually look like a bunker. And if I'm correct, I can just use these for the roof. And well, if I then also paint them the light thingy, the roof looks to be a lot higher. Yeah, I kind of like that. Now what I'm probably going to do is just add like some fake hallways in here where there is room, and it's just going to be like winding as if you're going through like the whole bunker. Okay, now I sort of have the layout of the whole thing. Don't worry, I'm going to change some of this into an actual queue path. It's just so I know the layout. Now I need to make, well, all of the walls and all of the rooms. So let me just make those. You've seen how I make the walls. After that, we'll actually see if I can add some decoration to some of these rooms. And if I'm correct, we got these new sort of like glass primitives, which I think if I use them correctly, I can try and make some of like these sort of like water tanks or whatever they are. I think it's something like, I am never going to be able to do some crazy stuff with primitives without any game pass, so adding some like these little details all around, I think it's quite nice. And I also need to start looking at some of the lights, which I think we have a neon post that's like in the middle, not on the corner, but I'm not 100% sure. To be fair, these all the way around the edge at the top is also pretty cool, actually, like that. Ooh, I might just do, oh no, I'm going to do that. That's sick. I just need to make sure it emits enough light, which probably if you place a lot of these next to each other, yeah, it's definitely getting enough lit up, since it's still a little dark, but it's still a little light. So it's like scary and mysterious. But just keep in mind, it's still just a powered coaster where we're making this for. And we can add a little bit of a window actually here. I think that is pretty cool. So I'm just going to fill this room with a lot of metal boxes, just so there's something, I would say. And before I forget it, I need to make sure I add all of these, well, sort of like poles to every single pillar. That is going to be a lot of work. The only thing I'm not sure about is how I'm going to make that look good. This, I guess I can add maybe that, but the only thing is that it's not the same size. Is it really? And I'm not sure. I guess I can just make that go all the way to the ceiling. Yeah, to be fair, that seems to work. And I would love to be able to actually add decoration to this wall, but there's just nothing that really like sticks to this wall. Like I can put stuff here, but well, as you can see, it just flies because it's like half a square. It's not on the grid. I can sadly add nothing to that. I can add a little bit of detail, but not sure if that looks nice. The best detail I can probably add that does actually fit really nice in the style are some ladders. I'm going to add a million ladders to this whole build. Everywhere where I can put a ladder. So every single pillar is going to be filled with those poles, and every single pillar is going to be filled with ladders. Oh god, this is going to be a lot of work getting that everywhere. But it's hopefully going to look a little, well, quite detailed because of it. So as you can see, it already starts to become a lot more like cool, and I actually really start to like this part. Now we got this very big room right here. And for this room, I actually want to go up a little higher. And I think the maximum I can kinda go is 2 blocks higher, since, well, there's a roof right here. The only problem is, I don't know if I can remove this. No. That is the... I cannot remove this since I basically just go here through the right. Okay, well, that is the maximum height I can go. Let's, well, close that off again. Whoops. Okay, that's going to make this roof a little bit more difficult since I cannot make that roof than the height I wanted it. Is there a different piece I can use? No, that seems to be about the only piece. It can still be higher, but just by one block. And since there's a lot of room, I'm not going to use here actually. Instead of making this already all the queue, this is just going to be a little area. And I think I'm just going to open this and add a flat ride. Now, what flat ride could actually fit in here that isn't too big? Maybe the Gravitron actually kind of fits the vibe. Of course, I know this is a very old model and it's weird. For some reason, this just kind of feels like it fits in here. And then from this point on here, we can actually start the queue for the powered coaster. Okay, that actually seems very nice. And the other thing that probably this area should have too, instead of all these areas, is actually some stalls. So guests will actually walk here apart from just the Gravitron. Now, this entrance and queue is just going to be extremely short, since the queue probably is only going to be that. Okay, now I just need to make sure the whole area around here looks good. And just add a little bit of light here. It's just going to be, I don't know, some special orb in the middle here. I do still need to add actually the roof. And for the stalls themselves, I don't think it really matters too much. We're just going to add a slushy stall. And I guess we're also going to add some fries. There we go. And as you can see, it already starts to feel more like there's multiple rooms all around. There's going to be a room here that goes like all the way to the left, which you're not going to see since there's just going to be nothing here. Yeah, I'm now just doing all mainly the base structure of the whole bunker. And then after that, I'm actually going to add all of the detail and stuff to this, since that is going to take the most time. And I won't show that on video since that is just extremely boring. And this room is just going to be blue, mainly because I'm just going to keep the right blue so it doesn't look that much out of place with all of the lights. To be fair, I think that actually looks pretty cool. I guess we can just open this, and this is just the ride that's in this area. Then we continue with the queue to here. So let me then actually start, well, probably just the queue on the right. Then I'm thinking of, it's probably also just smart to have the exit actually also come out here. So I'm probably just going to move the exit to here, and then the entrance will be there. And if I just connect it like that, we now have the entrance and exit of the powered coaster right here running next to each other, which actually works and fits perfectly. So now I need to actually, well, make this whole structure here. I'll be back with you once I actually have done that. Okay, well, I have now filled in. There is trash. Why? Oh, I need to place trash cans. People are walking here. Okay, well, let me continue where I was talking. This area, now the structure is finished. Now I still have to add all the detail as I said. But yeah, we have this big magical orb in the middle. I might like make that pulse in a little bit. I think that's actually going to be pretty cool. Then, well, we got a very cool ride in here, which is the Gravitron, just another flat ride in the park. And then if we continue this way, this will be the entrance of the powered coaster. Oh, we go in the queue. There's a little bit of like a window here, so you can, well, look both sides. Then here I've added some more stalls, and there's also a window here where you can also, if like your mom doesn't want to ride, if you want to take a picture, you can do that here. And then, well, if you of course continue in here, we get in this very, very big room, as you can see. And well, this is of course then going to be the station of the powered coaster. And then after that, not sure what you're going to do, but basically this part here will be like the bunker, and then after that you just go in the gate. So yeah, today we'll be focusing on this and also a little bit on this area here later in the video where we place a new flat ride. Let's first get all of this done. Now, I think to add a little bit of light, I'm again going to add one of these light strips, not all the way at the top, but just like in the middle of the room. I hope that should be enough light for, yeah, this room to be lit up. And then actually what I want to do is add some pipes throughout the room. I'm not really sure why, but we of course got so many of like these pipe items. I don't know, it just hopefully fills it up a little bit more and makes it less of a full room. And of course these won't be like blue. I will actually make them, where is it? Probably just metal and then paint them like this. They look a little bit that's too much painted. They look a little bit different like this. And then of course we can also add a few that go like straight up. I'm not really sure what the pipes do, but it does make the room feel a little bit less empty. And I just realized we have of course a lot of these pieces which I can actually use and make this 10 times better. Alright, that actually now looks pretty nice. Now before I'm going to continue adding more detail, I know I need to add all of the ladders and all of these poles on every single pillar. That's going to take a little bit. I'll be back in like an hour, which for you is like one cut. Why can you not paint this fence? That is the most dumb thing ever. Why can you not change this? You can change all of the fences apart from the actual one I want to use. And this color is just no. Well, at least I get to color these fences, which I guess it's something. Alright, and with that, why am I so dark? With that, this little area is now finished. So yeah, you basically just walk through this whole bunker. There's like some crates, there's some tubes, I don't know what. Then you have this little area right here with like the gravitron, I'm not sure, but it's probably like some sort of experiment. And then we have the entrance and exit of the powered coaster. There's more stuff here, little window. And then you have the very big station building, which I actually have to say, I am quite happy with. The only thing that I seem to need to change is actually the color of the track, which will of course only be this color inside of the bunker. And for now we can just open this coaster just so people are going to ride it, but that means the powered coaster, at least the station, the queue is now finished. And well, this is actually quite a big area. Now, before we wrap up this episode, I do want to place a new flat ride right here, and I hope it's going to fit. So of course, last update we got the bumper cars, and I already have looked a little bit, and I think it can fit right here. It actually perfectly fits right here. That's actually the first time I tried that, so that is perfect. And this probably will just have some sort of like the same vibe. I don't think I want this to be the same as like, well, inside here, since this is literally like a separate area. I do definitely need to make the outside look a lot better, since, yeah, no, this doesn't look the best, but I will do that in my own time. For now, I will just add a very simple fence around this, and probably actually add like terrain around there, since I don't think I want to keep this open like this. I actually want this to be like hidden inside of a cave, which I think can be really cool for like a bumper car. So like everywhere is like a wall around you. The only thing is that there might need to be a very small hole for the roller coaster right here, which I guess isn't the end of the world. Might actually make it a little bit more unique. Now the only thing I kind of have to do is like hide some of these spotlights and just probably just give them like funky colors. And I think if I just make them all pearls in like different timings, I think this is going to be like a very cool big, well, bumper car. It's still quite dark here and everywhere, so there you go. Now this is very bright, and I think you can quite tell what the entrance is. And then on the other side, this is like a lot more dark, which I have to say I also really like. So we can also open this bumper cars, and then I would say this little area also slowly starts to be finished. I still need to add a little bit of decoration, finish off this wall, and well, make sure this whole area doesn't look what it now looks. But that is sadly all the time I have for today. So yeah, today we built the bumper cars, we built this whole bunker of the inside with, well, the gravitron and the whole queue and station of the powered coaster. And well, there it actually is. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe on my channel, and let me know what you want to see in the next video. What should I work on? Should I work on this massive area, which is going to be a lot of terrain? So guys, I will say, as always, goodbye.